You will have all heard about Richard Cambion, of course. He who, up in Buckfastleigh, up by the church, has the strangest of all tombs. A tomb with railings that point inside, as if to keep his spirit at bay. But do you know the story of that tomb? Do you know the story of Richard Cambion, who in the days of James I held the lands in Devon in a grip of tyranny? He had a wife in his house, a poor woman who was always wasting away, half-starved, and he had endless women off in the moor, who he called my moor wives, who came and went and often disappeared. There came a year that his wife was found with the neck broken, and Richard Cambion hushed it up, so powerful a squire was he. But after his wife died, it was said he got more and more reckless. He started to kidnap not just poor peasant women, but the women of gentry. One was quite well-to-do, and she was plucky, and escaped and ran across the moor. And Richard Cambion, laughing, called for his full pack of hounds, and followed her all the way back to her brother's house. And there she died of exhaustion. Well, the brother was well-to-do enough to prosecute Richard Cambion, but Richard Cambion was a man of great influence, and so it was he packed the jewellery, and they found him innocent. When he heard that, the brother despaired, and he tried to shoot Richard Cambion, but Richard Cambion was quick with a pistol, and shot him first, and as the brother lay bleeding to death, he cursed Richard Cambion, saying, "May he not live past next Whitsun." And so it proved. For that May proved uncharitable weather, but Richard Cambion, he went a-hunting as he always did, and he rode out into the moor one time, and was caught in a dreadful, dreadful storm, a hail wind, and before he came back, he was quite caught with the flu. And the flu grew worse, and the influenza raged through him, for no doctor would come, or no priest, and when they were sure he would die, all his servants deserted him, all save a little old woman who had nursed him as a child. And she told a story that on the very eve of Whitsun, she heard the great door open, and it seemed to her something was stepping up along the corridor of the long, long house, for this was an old Devon longhouse with no upstairs. And she went and looked outside, but could see nothing, only that the door of Richard Cambion's room seemed open, and she went along the corridor herself until she came to her room, and she looked inside, and as she looked inside, there was a great sigh. And she seemed to see a figure, a great hunching figure, standing close to Richard Cambion's bed. And the figure had horns, and around it was pale hounds. And as she watched, it whined a horn, and she heard a cry coming out from the moor. And there was Richard Cambion, running across the moor. And the horned huntsman was following him. Men say he is chasing him to this day, and if you go up to Wisman's Wood, you can still hear them chasing one another.